why Sid James and co are all set to make a big comeback.
I do wish you wouldn't keep doing that. Rank stupidity.
Right, moving on now, and next tonight, an extraordinary comeback for the Carry On films. Famed for their saucy postcard humour and starring the likes of Joan Sims, Kenneth Connor and Sid James, you'd hardly expect to see them at a place like the Barbican Arts Centre. But that's exactly where all 30 are being shown in the next 3 weeks. How could it be? Maxine Clayton reports on Carry On screening.
And fling and in. And both arms fling. Now really, let's see those chests come out. Fling!
They were as saucy as a seaside postcard, as corny as a music hall gag.
Oh, so you felt it too, that exciting tingling.
I've only got to think of you, and I have a tingle.
More than 30 films were turned out over 20 years, using a trusted formula. They were the same jokes, the same casts, only the costumes changed.
I think the Carry On series are really pretty treasurable. The best of them, Carry On Up the Khyber, is undoubtedly in my 10 best British films ever made. I think it's tremendously funny farce, really fast-paced, totally politically incorrect, which is fun nowadays when everything's so po-faced.
81-year-old Peter Rogers produced every single one. He'd think up the titles in the bath, then phone the writer for a script. On the set, actors treated each other like family.
When they weren't working, they were sitting around in their chairs, laughing and joking. And sometimes they would come down, whether they were called or not, just to be with their friends. It was, Joan Sims used to say, it was like going back to school.
Let go!
Carry On Sergeant, filmed in 1958, was made first. Originally intended as a serious film, a backer couldn't be found, so it became a comedy instead. A series was born. They were filmed in 6 weeks and made international stars of Sid James, Kenneth Williams, Hattie Jakes, Joan Sims and Barbara Windsor.
The old boys really knew how to do it. That's why the films are so good, because although it may seem simple and the jokes may seem totally banal, they timed them to perfection.
Knickers.
Please, Councillor, I should strike that from the minutes, mister.
I beg your pardon, Your Worship?
Don't take down knickers.
Some claim the humour descended from Chaucer. Others say Max Miller was the inspiration. Whatever the source, some sketches have become famous, like the dining room scene in Carry On Up the Khyber.
I see you've got a little plaster.
By the late 70s, the nudge-nudge formula was wearing thin and production came to an end. But 90s audiences, fed up with Schwarzenegger and Stallone, may enjoy the gags and giggles of the Carry On movies, which once made up the best of British farce.
Well, we're joined now by one of the stars of the Carry On films, Jack Douglas. Jack Douglas, you starred in 8 of the films. What's your reaction to this festival, then?
Utter amazement. I think, I was just saying 5 minutes ago, that I think Sid, Kenny and Peter are up there somewhere looking down, falling about laughing. I don't think any of us ever thought we'd get to somewhere with the prestige of the Barbican, you know, with the Carry On pictures. We just did a job, we made a movie, and that was the end of it. And imagine my surprise when this came up. I think it's wonderful. The public have determined this, not any of us or any of the media or the press. John Public has said we want and they've got. Great.
Why do you think this revival is happening now?
I think that we're very sadly lacking in family entertainment. We have every other kind of entertainment, but we don't have things that we can sit down with our kids and watch. The Carry-Ons, yes, they were naughty, but they weren't filthy. And I think that's what people want today. They want to enjoy something with the children instead of the kids watching the television, mum and dad and grandma and grandpa all separately.
Which one of the films was your particular favourite?
I think Carry On Girls, because Sid and I got on so well together. We were both terrible Taurians. And we just had a rapport. And when we did Carry On Girls, it was just like a double act, you know. And the magic that he and I had together, I never ever forgot. He was a wonderful man and we miss him very much.
Jack Douglas, thank you very much indeed for talking to us.
Great pleasure.